Everyone, welcome back to Fleet Feet Huntsville-Madison YouTube, your go-to spot for expert running advice from expert runners, top-notch gear, and in-depth shoe reviews. I am Ben. I'm here alongside Jared today. We are covering the highly anticipated Gel-Nimbus 27. It's been out for a couple weeks now, but we finally got it on some feet and have done some reviews. Max Cushion daily trainer that has made waves over the past few years. The Gel-Nimbus 27 really builds on the radical overhaul we saw with the 25, Jared, a couple of years ago, and refining the formula that made this a go-to comfort shoe, not just for runners, but those all-day comfort seekers as well. We're going to talk about the biggest updates, Jared. Number one being what they're doing with this FFBlast ECO. Talk to us about that.
So, as everybody knows, ASICS a few years ago started using flat foam, and so over the past few years, they've enhanced it, and so the Nimbus 27, they're using flat foam Blast ECO Plus. So it tweaks a little composition. It's just a little softer, a little lighter weight, and it's a little more plush than the 26. So, and with the update, they also increased the stack by 2 millimeters. So instead of 42, you're now sitting at 44 on the heel, and instead of 38 on your toes on the forefoot, as we call it, you're now sitting at 36, or going from 34 to 36.
Yeah, so they added stack height and cushion. So they managed to do it without adding a lot of weight. And I think another piece of that too was what they did with the upper. So for the version 27, they moved away from the all knit upper, which everybody found to be super comfortable. Knits are always really, really comfortable. They're not necessarily the most durable. So they went to a new jacquard mesh upper. And so they replaced it all. You're going to have a more improved breathability. While still feeling, it's still a soft mesh. So like, even though they went to a mesh, I don't want anybody to think it's uncomfortable at all. It's really not. It still surprisingly feels like the knit that they did in the 26, but is going to give it a little bit lighter weight and enhanced breathability. They have also continued to improve on what they're doing with the outsole here. Jared, talk to us about this AHR plus rubber and what ASICS is doing.
So ASICS, as everybody knows, has always had really good grip. Well, for the past few years, a lot of people would say it's like, hey, when you look at the grip, it's not going to grab. When you're running, when you're walking, it's just not going to grab as much. So this year they decided it's the AHR rubber to make it AHR plus rubber. So you're going to have a lot more grip compared to the 26, and you're not going to be slipping as much.
No, it's really, really solid. The key with the AHR plus there is that it's supposedly 2 to 3 times more durable than like a traditional shoe outsole rubber. ASICS' big thing is sustainability. So that's why we see the FFBlast ECO, the more sustainable, more durable rubber, because they're really thinking about life cycle of the footwear. So the weight really remains the same. Despite adding the stack height, they keep the same weight. A men's 9 is going to be roughly about just under 11 ounces, 10.9 ounces. Obviously, however you size, if you're sizing bigger than that, it's going to be a slightly heavier shoe. For women's, on average, they're going to be a little bit lighter weight. Jared, one thing I love in particular that they kept the same is what they did the heel here, the nice elastic pull-on tab with the knit heel collar, as well as the all-knit tongue. That was something that people really liked about the 25, and so I'm glad that they kept that.
And one thing I will say for sure, Ben, is that when you look at the 27 and you compare it to the 26, is one complaint that we would get from customers is the tongue would just be too tight. And so with that now knit upper on the tongue, it's a little more stretchy. And when you pull it up on your foot, it's not going to slide down like previous models.
Yeah, exactly. If you'll look in there, I'll show our other camera here, but they have it gusseted in. So you still get that really nice wrapped sock-like feel, but it stays ultra soft and it doesn't slip and slide on you at all. So overall, same 8 millimeter heel to toe drop. Jared, I think this fits pretty true to size. What do you think?
It does. Most people who have worn them in the past are going to be comfortable with the same size. I've had a few customers come in, especially since we do offer this in an extra wide in men's. It does feel a little tight. If you've worn a wide before, if you want to go to a normal, I would stick with a wide for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially you still get some stretch and some movement, even though they went to the mesh from the knit. It's still going to move and grow with you a little bit. So standard and wide widths, the padded heel there keeps the heel really locked in. I feel like the wrap, because of that gusseted knit tongue through the midfoot, is really, really solid. plenty of room in the toe box.
Absolutely.
We don't have these yet personally,
Right.
but we've had them here at the store since January, so we've all had a chance to try them on and kind of wear them around the store. I personally find it really, really comfortable. It's everything that was good about the 25, everything that was good about the 26. They just continue to improve on it. What do you think?
I think one thing, so my wife has a pair, and so one thing I will tell you that she has told me, she likes it a little bit more than her 26, actually.
Okay.
So the 26 for her was just a little too plushy. She's a physical therapist, so she just wanted something a little firmer.
Yeah.
So I got her a pair of 27s, and it works. To your point, I think the best thing about this shoe, really, for most people, is it's not as snug. So ASICS being a Japanese company, the one complaint we get is it's going to be too snug on my foot.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 27 has been a good upgrade in that regard, where you still have that breathable on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you do go to wide, it's not going to actually feel like most wides do. So when you go to other brands, that wide width, it's not going to be too wide. It's going to be that perfect in between. I'm in a D or I'm in an E. You can do it too and still be comfortable for sure.
Yeah, totally agree. So let's talk about how it performs. We've gotten a lot of feedback now from customers on this shoe. We've heard that people really love it for those easy run days, long run days. Jared, as far as like people who are runners, our customers that come in here to Fleet Feet Huntsville-Madison who are running, what would you tell them they'd get out of this shoe?
I would say it's going to be more of like a short distance shoe. It's not going to have the longevity like a Nova Blast or Super Blast from ASICS will for those longer runs. But if you want to wear something for like a everyday kind of shoe, or if you're like, hey, I just want something comfortable just to go around town in, this shoe's perfect. This is my, if I had to pull a shoe for a whole week to survive a whole trip, it would be this shoe.
I totally agree. It's a great like recovery day shoe, or the shoe you wear after your long run, or like some slower miles. Daily wear, it's fantastic. Those of you taking vacations out there, I say this on just about every video, Jared, but we have the customer come in and they go, I'm not a runner. I'm a walker.
Yep.
We're going on vacation. We're going to be doing a lot of walking. They want to know, is this a good shoe for them? What would you say?
I would say absolutely. Yeah. So most people like to compare this like to the Bondi from Hoka, the 1080 from New Balance. I actually have taken Nimbuses to Disney World, and I have customers who come in like, I'm going to Disney, and I'm like, perfect, I got the right shoe, and it's going to be that shoe that's going to go from 6 a.m. to the end of your park day for sure.
My wife and I were just in Disney in December, and of course, one of the pairs of shoes we both took was our Nimbus 26. The 27s weren't out yet, so we took our 26s, but they worked perfectly. This is probably not the shoe for you if you're looking for something to handle speed work or those up-tempo runs. It's a lot of cushion, it's a lot of stack, and it's not the most responsive foam blend that ASICS does. So it's not going to be as responsive as some other daily trainers. You might find it a little bit heavy and clunky if you're really trying to push the pace. But overall, that FFBlast ECO is really going to give you that soft, really plush, cushioned ride, not overly bouncy. It's very stable, even for a neutral shoe. So if you're a heavy heel striker, having that nice ASICS gel pad in the heel there too, you're really going to appreciate it. And if you're more of a midfoot, forefoot, you're still going to really enjoy the geometry of this one. Overall, Jared, I think this one is built to last. That ASICS High Abrasion Rubber Plus is going to give you improved grip and traction. It does firm it up just a touch, I think, from previous models. The midsole cushioning is going to hold up pretty well. However, this is a road-based shoe. We do not recommend taking it out on any trail. So Jared, let's talk about some of the biggest competitors to the Nimbus. Now, we're not going to pull them out on this video, but you've already mentioned one, the Hoka Bondi 9. Definitely a much firmer shoe, probably a taller shoe, I think, too. I don't have the specs of the Bondi 9. And definitely a more pronounced rocker on the Bondi 9. By comparison, the Nimbus 27 is going to be much softer and much more plush. Another shoe we compare it to is the 1080. How does this stack up against something like the New Balance 1080?
So the 1080 it's a marshmallow for most people. Yeah. It's very soft. Ben and I both can tell you, when we got a pair of 1080s, if it was the V13 or the V14, it was just a little too plush. And so it was just lighter and a little more flexible. Well, Ben, to your point, the Nimbus is going to have a lot more.
Yeah, and it just way more stable than something like the 1080. The 1080 has its advantages. It is a little bit lighter weight. It's a little snappier. So if you want a high cushion shoe to pick up the pace, that'll do it. But the ASICS is overall going to be a lot more stable for most people. Finally, we're often pulling it against something like a Brooks Glycerin 22, which we've already done a review on. If you haven't checked out our Glycerin 22 video, we'll link to that in the comments. But Jared, how does this compare against the Glycerin?
So the Glycerin 22 is a lot more snappier, to your point, and then they added new DNA tuned foam to it. So it's still going to be that softness that people are accustomed to from the Glycerin. But with that gel pad that the ASICS has, you're gonna have like a little more. I pull both at the same time, and it's a coin flip, because I have customers who come in, they're like, oh, I want something a little thicker, and I don't. And of course, when I pull out the bunny, they're like, that's thick, but it's not the cushion. Then I pull the Nimbus, and they're like, oh, I like that cushion. And then they try the Glycerin, like, what's the closest thing to something a little more soft than the Bondi used to be? I was like, this Nimbus, 100.
Yeah, overall, I tend to agree with all your points. So I think this is the shoe if you want something max cushion for easy runs, long runs, all day wear, or if you're a heavier runner and you really want something durable that's going to last and hold up, it's a really great option for you. And if you've just been an ASICS fan and a Nimbus fan and you want their softest, most plush version yet, this is a great shoe for you. This might not be the one for you if you're looking for something a little lighter weight, more versatile, looking for something for those tempo runs or those faster workouts. If you want more responsiveness or a bouncy ride, we can point you to like an ASICS Nova Blast or an ASICS Super Blast. And at a price point of $165, it's definitely more in the premium price range that we expect for a max cushion shoe. But overall, ASICS has refined what went really, really well with the Nimbus 27 from those previous versions. Small, very meaningful updates. Not an overall game changer, just minor tweaks, but it's a really, really solid choice for those who prioritize comfort. Jared, any final thoughts?
So one last thing I would tell customers is that if you want a shoe that's going to give you that responsive, but the lightweightness of a cushion shoe, this is what you're going to want. Because if you go to the 1080, you go to another max cushion shoes, as we call them, you're going to want something that gives you that cushion that can give you that comfortability throughout the day, not something where within 2-3 hours you're wanting to take it off. The Nimbus has been a favorite of mine for a long time, and I think it will for years to come for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I think that's going to do it for our review. If you're wondering if the Nimbus 27 is the right shoe for you, come visit Jared and I here at Fleet Feet Huntsville in Jones Valley or our Madison location out on Hughes Road. We will guide you through our streamlined Fit ID process. We will help you find the perfect shoe for you no matter what the brand. Are you planning to grab the Nimbus 27? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more running shoe reviews. If you're looking for more comparisons, check out some of our other shoe review videos on the channel. We believe that running changes everything. We hope to see you soon. Nice, dude. That was really good.